When the German Empire and the Soviet Union invaded Poland in 1939, it set in motion a chain reaction that plunged the whole world into darkness. This period, now known as World War II, was ended by possibly the most devastating event in human history. The deployment of nuclear bombs on the Japanese cities Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which resulted in Japan's unconditional surrender in September 1945. While the war already ended in Europe 5 months earlier with the capture of Berlin by Allied forces, the Japanese wouldn't give up so easily. In May 1945, the war was still raging on the Pacific Ocean without an immediate end in sight. The Japanese troops stationed there have grown up in a militaristic culture that glorified martial ability and saw surrender or defeat as the greatest possible shame. When Japan finally surrendered, the world as these soldiers knew it broke apart, but not for everybody. Because out there, on the islands of the Pacific Ocean, cut off from communication, a handful of Japanese soldiers continued to hold out their positions, facing nothing but their own uncertainty. One of the very last of these 127 so-called holdouts was Yokoi Shoichi. Stationed on the Pacific island of Guam since at least 1944, he held this position until he was discovered by 2 local fishermen in 1972, the same year the Winter Olympics were hosted in Japan and the last time a human has ever set foot on the moon. During Yokoi's 28-year-long tour, he witnessed how the island was conquered by American troops in 1944. Yokoi and 9 other soldiers escaped capture or death by retreating deep into the jungle, where they quickly split up again. The 3 remaining men, including Yokoi, stayed there, even when in 1952 they heard that the war was over. By 1964, Yokoi was the only one of the group still alive and continued staying in his dugout 7 feet underground and supported by large bamboo canes, only going out at night to gather food. When he was finally discovered, he begged for the fishermen to take his life. Instead, they fed him and reported him to the authorities. 2 weeks later, he was back in his homeland, welcomed as a hero. Still with an old militaristic mindset, he famously said, "It is with much embarrassment, but I have finally returned." Back in Japan, Yokoi lived a simple life and eventually received the equivalent of $300 in back pay and a small pension. In 1997, Yokoi died of a heart attack at the age of 82 and was buried under the gravestone that his mother had originally commissioned in 1955 after he was officially been declared dead. Though undoubtedly incredible, Yokoi's story is by far not the only one to be told about the Japanese holdouts. Did I mention the island where a Japanese woman reigned as queen over 30 Japanese soldiers after the end of World War II? No? Well, that's a story for another day. Until then, feel free to check out the other videos on my channel and don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any other mind-bending videos. I'm not going to hold out any longer here as my story has been told. Have a great day.